If you care at all about men, women out there, then you will 100% support them walking away from government marriage contracts, even long-term relationships, even dating. You will support that because if you have your eyes open and you're not totally propagandized, you know how bad it is for men, how no one is looking at what their needs are. They're just seeing what they can get from them. Today, we're going to talk about that. And for those of you out there that are still trying to find the good one or the needle in the needle stack, hopefully this will help you by showing you how big those red flags are that may not seem so obvious to you. And to the men who have already been discarded, disposed of, seen a stranger looking at you in family court, who said, I would never do that. I found that you guys are helped by looking back and realizing that, you know what? The issue wasn't you. It wasn't you. For example, this is our first example.
Things a high value woman will never do in a relationship. She will never have desperate, needy energy or beg anybody to be with her. She will not try to control or change him either. She values him as his own man, his own entity, as she values herself and her own autonomy. If a man doesn't meet her standards, if he doesn't treat her the way she deserves to be treated, she can cut ties effortlessly with him because she has that stability, that pillar of strength, that secure attachment to herself to allow people to flow out of her life that are not meant for her. If she's in a relationship,
she just said she's not going to try to change him. She's going to value him, all of that stuff. And in the almost the same breath, she's talking about how easy it would be to just walk away if he's not meeting her standards. Notice that. Don't get lost in the first thing she said because the second thing she says completely discounts it.
relationship with a man, or she's starting to date a man and he doesn't treat her right. He doesn't respond to her. He ignores her. He doesn't text back or he ghosts her. She's not going to chase after him. She's not going to try to convince anybody of her value. If she doesn't like his behavior, she won't accept it. She withdraws her energy from it. This is how a woman of high value lives her life. You come into her life, you treat her good, she pours back into you. If you don't treat her good, she cuts you loose from her life. She withdraws her energy from you. She has that standard and you meet it or you don't, and she's not affected.
Do not be pulled in by any woman who's talking about energy because these things are absolutely undefinable. In fact, she will get to define them at every step of the way. She clearly, you can tell just from the pause screen, she's in charge and she decides. And any woman that keeps talking about her self-worth and her value and self-love, do not proceed. That is a veto.
By it either way. Even if she likes you, she's not going to compromise her dignity, her self-worth, just to allow you to treat her poorly or lower her standards for you. Meet her standards, love her, she'll love you back, she'll pour back into you. You don't, goodbye. Her self-worth.
Again, it's all depending on what she gets. Do you hear that? It's all about what she gets. She's trying to package it as it's all going to be fair and I'm going to treat you right, but that's not exactly what she's saying.
Is a top priority. And this makes her really magnetic to men. Men like a challenge. They like a confident woman. They like a chase. They like a woman who won't put up with their crap because it gives them something to work hard for. And since she has such high value for herself, he will have the same high value for her. He sees her the way she sees herself. Things a high value woman
That
will
is
never
not
do in a
true.
relationship. She will never have desperate
This is shush. This is just another example of women have no idea who men are and they don't care because they're too valuable. Anyway, that's just a sneak peek of the types of things we're going to look at today. I'm going to call it out, you guys. I'm going to call it out because I want you to be protected from this. Welcome back to Far From Eden. Well, I was inspired because yesterday's interview with the lovely Hannah, I also felt like it was important to make this video because while I think she might be a unicorn, and go back and check for yourselves, I asked her all the questions that I think you guys would want to know. And so today, I'm like, let's juxtapose that to what is not a unicorn. Because I think that there are some men out there that still are like, I'm going to find a good one. And sometimes it's easy to be fooled by these ones. And so let's look at some of the ones that society would even say they're good ones. Your church might even tell you they're good ones. But I'm the first one to tell you that a church, a lot of times, is a hiding place for 304s. They don't hold women accountable. They're quick all day long to talk about what men need to do, what men need to be, and, happy wife, happy life situation. But what are the rules for the women? Seriously, where's the condemnation for them? If you go to a church and you get divorced, the man is man bad. Woman, oh, poor innocent victim. Why? It is an old, tired viewpoint that they seem to have in the especially Protestant churches. So, without further ado, let's check out these women. Exhibit A, the Christian girl. That's all I'll say before we get started with her, because otherwise I might end up on a rant.
This might come across as a little harsh, but it's the tough love that I needed. You do not submit to your boyfriend. You do not submit to the man that you are dating. You only submit to your husband.
Warning number 1. We're 13 seconds in. Warning number 1. A wife candidate and a Christian woman is by nature, maybe not by nature, but is submissive, right? She's been raised to be that way. It's how she's basically been brought up. It isn't this thing you turn off and on for certain people, because then it becomes dependent on something else. Who are you and what do you do? This is a woman, sounds like, I don't know for sure, she has a revolving door of constant candidates. Why would she even have a boyfriend? If she's looking to be married and she's looking for a husband, right? Why would she even have a boyfriend that wasn't a good candidate? If you watched the interview yesterday, you saw how Hannah went on couple dates fishing and talking and getting all of these things about character and everything out of the way. She's very soft-spoken, very gentle, already has that submissive spirit. Because, lady, I've got news to you, and not to get too much into the weeds, but you already should be submissive to God. Therefore, you have the submissive spirit. So don't let this fool you if what you're looking for is a good Christian woman.
In marriage. I had this really toxic way of looking at relationships, and it stems from a lot of trauma and self-worth issues, but I always felt like I had to audition for the role of being someone's wife. Like, I might not have even liked this dude that much, but I felt like I had to prove to him that I would be a good wife by like cooking for him, cleaning for him, like literally playing house, sleep.
Danger. Literally playing house. We're already talking about those sorts of things in a negative way. She's talking about, I always thought that I had to sleep with him. How many dudes is this? These are all veto, veto, veto.
Sleeping with him, doing all these things that you would in a marriage for me to feel loved and worthy and like valuable to him, if that makes sense. And this is so, so, so toxic because
What makes sense to me is sounds like you were in situationships or loose sort of relationships that you were trying to force into marriage and it didn't work. You were trying to get him down the aisle and it didn't work.
I never understood how much worth and value I had and how beautiful and what a masterpiece I am in the eyes of the Lord, and that my body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. I never understood those things.
Okay, none of that. None of that. We know if you're a Christian, you know how vile you are, what a sinner you are, and that you are only made those wonderful things because of the sacrifice of Jesus. So to be like, I'm this and I'm a that and I'm a what? No, veto.
Things, and I constantly degraded myself and devalued myself for men that the Lord never even wanted me to get into a relationship with. As a woman, your job is to literally be pursued by a man. The person who's pursuing you is supposed to show you how much he loves the Lord through his actions and his words, and it's supposed to show you the love of Christ that Christ has for his church, because that's what marriage actually is. It's a reflection of the love of Christ for his church. And if this person is leading you to sexual sin, he's not protecting your purity, he's not leading you in Christ, and that does not mean,
sorry, lady, he's not protecting. No, no. You just said, don't give him wife, stuff if he's just your boyfriend. Why is he doing those things if he's just your boyfriend? Why would you even be having these casual relationships if this is what you say you want? And why hasn't she said yet about how she's saying she devalued herself, blah, blah, blah. Did she say once that she disobeyed? Did she say once that she disobeyed? Is she holding herself accountable? No. She's just saying, I didn't know how wonderful I was.
that you're submitted to him. It just means that he's encouraging you and leading you to grow in your relationship with Jesus. If this person isn't doing all of those things, then I highly doubt that that's the person the Lord wants you with. I say all these things to encourage you because you are so valuable and so worth the wait and so worth the pursuing, because you are going to bring such amazing things into a marriage and into future motherhood if that's what you desire and the Lord has for you. All these things are all good.
I'm sorry if that's what the Lord has for you. There are some women who can't, but I think he's quite clear with what's expected. And has she talked anything about what the husband wants? No. Just what she decides later. I can't take much more of her. We'll just hear a little bit more.
In due time. But I don't want you to rush into a relationship and start playing house and start pretending like you're in a marriage. And then 6 years later, you're like, why hasn't he proposed to me? Well, what incentive does he have to propose to you? If you're giving him your body, if you're giving him your soul, if you're giving him everything you have, why get married?
Well, exactly. 6 years? Good gracious, lady. That, again, another red flag in a relationship for 6 years. Played house, all that. That's a veto. This is a woman that has not been serious and does not hold herself accountable. And she doesn't even realize it. And, well, bless her heart. On to the next. I can't take any more of her. I hope this one will be self-explanatory, but I'll point some things out about this giant faker.
Let's talk about characteristics of a high quality woman. Number 1, a high quality woman respects herself. She knows how to say no. She only does things that she wants to do. She gives her energy to people that truly value her and respect her. She is not convinced by the illusions or ideas that a lot of men may portray to her, because you have to realize, as a woman, the only way a man can really get to you is by using your emotions, by using your mind, by creating ideas that make you think, oh, this is what he's going to provide for me. You have to pay attention to actions, not words. When a woman respects herself, that's when you will receive respect from other people, energetically and naturally. When you step into any room, people will already know how much you respect yourself just by the way you uphold yourself, and literally because of your energy. A guy knows when to respect a girl just by the way she enters a room. And how does he analyze that? Because of her energy, by the way that she
Energy. She's basically, this is what she's saying, okay? I think she truly believes that it's energy. And also, if you can tell that a woman is changing her voice like this, that's not how she talks, okay? She's putting on a costume and calling that her energy and trying to lure you in with a facade, right? She's luring you with a fakery. Do not think for 1 second that this is how she sounds and this is how she acts when she gets angry and she thinks that, well, you're just not measuring up. You're not respecting her with the same intensity that she's respecting you. And guess what? She gets to decide. She gets to decide. She's already decided, in fact, that she's up here. So, you're not going to measure up. When you meet a woman like this, just know you're not going to measure up. She has way too high of a value on herself. We are inundated, and we have been, really since pop psychology came along, like that. It's all about self-love. It's really not. That's where you lose the heart of service. You're not going to be able to serve others and sacrifice when you're too busy loving yourself. It's not what it's about.
thinks, by the way that she radiates, by the way that she magnetizes as she walks into a room. Number 2, a high value woman is truly in her femininity. By this I mean she balances her light feminine energy and her dark feminine energy. Her light feminine energy is her playful, kind, creative, and fun self. This is where she does all the cute stuff. And her dark feminine energy is where she sets her boundaries, respects herself, her guidelines and expectations, and most importantly, how she gets things done.
Okay, none of that is femininity. She has no idea. Once again, she's making it up. She's making it up to serve herself and get what she wants. This is such a red flag. I speechless.
These two energies are balanced and create this feminine energy. That is when she is her most magnetic self, because she's prioritizing herself. She's prioritizing her needs. And when you are in your most deep and magnetic state, that's when fruition and creation and overflow occur. And you enlighten people with that overflow because you are already taking care of yourself. So naturally, you can start taking care of other people. Number 3, and I think the most important one, is being elegant. By this, I don't mean dressing up super nice and looking clean and presentable. It's part of it, but it's like the 1% part of being elegant. The 99% part of being elegant is the way that you interact with people. Being kind, being respectful, being understanding are critical to this element in being a high value woman. High value woman makes people feel seen, understood, and valued. And meeting the
That's enough of her. I couldn't take any more. I could not take any more. That's enough. It's all a facade. She is instructing women how to act a certain way. Notice she's talking about high value this and high value that, and hasn't spoken of any values. Why be kind? Why be this? It's all to get something. It's all to get something. Veto. Absolutely veto. All right, who's our next candidate? Okay. This one is probably the one that makes me the angriest, and it probably will be the same for you guys.
This is how I literally train men to give me princess treatment. The key is to stop being a people pleaser. If he asks, can you meet him on the date? I'll just say, no, I don't feel like driving right now. If he says to Uber, I'll just be like, okay, send me an Uber. If he asks to go on a coffee date, a coffee date is boring. Like trying new food at restaurants or going to watch shows. That's what I'm down for. Like, you need to remember that this man is trying to date you and you have all the power. And what I love to do is be literally the bitchiest bitch I could be the most difficult, the most complicated person I can be. Because if he drops out in that first hour when you say no to a coffee date, trash is taking itself out. If you know how to do these 3 things, men will literally worship you, spoil you, and give you as much princess treatment as you want. First thing is learning how to attract a high value masculine man who will actually spoil you and give you princess treatment, but attracting him in a way where you are the prize and he is chasing you, he is courting you, he is literally obsessed with you.
If you're the prize, what is he? Oh, he's the trash that takes himself out.
And I learned all of this from just watching a few videos in the high value woman formula. What to wear, how to act when I'm out in public with the girls and I want to attract him over a way where the ball's in my court and I could just be like, I don't want to do that, or I want this, which allows him to show his worth and to earn your love. This literally always makes him chase you. And this is how he will literally be asking you to be his girlfriend, taking you out on the best dates, always trying to please you because you taught him to do that from day one. And I kid you not, after watching the high value woman formula videos, it talks about exactly what.
Okay, she watched the high value woman videos and how to do that. It's really just how to trap a man is all it is. It's how to fake it, have the right facade, just like the lady we saw last, except for this lady is really putting it out there. How to train the man. I can't believe they put this on TikTok. She sees no problem with this. This is why I say walk away, because even if they don't say this out loud, so many of them think this, and most of them are smart enough not to say it. They'll fake it better, like the ones we watched a little earlier, and trick you and say some things that you want to hear, tickle your ears with those things, even though there are secret messages in exactly that, right after they say the thing that you want to hear. Isn't it funny that women accuse men of manipulation and trickery and try to get just what they want? But in reality, that's what women do. Now, are there pickup artist guys out there, people in the red pills, men in the red pill space that are just like, I'm just going to date as many chicks and, the whole pump and dump, so gross? I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea for men. That's a great way to catch a case. It's a great way to, be falsely accused or get trapped in like a pregnancy thing. So I just feel like if you know enough to know that they're not relationship material or serious dating material, then warning, warning, they can be just as dangerous when you're trying to do the whole pump and dump thing. notwithstanding my moral, objections to it, I think it's very dangerous for men to get involved with that. Oh, to worship you. And what are you doing, ma'am? What are you doing? What's your responsibility? Just to be praised? Just to be the princess?
Masculine men are literally seeing as their future wife all of the green flags. And so when you demonstrate these, he will literally see you as the kind of girl he will want to marry, the kind of girl he will go above and beyond for. That's why some girls get princess treatment and other girls literally get coffee dates, because they are different caliber of women. He will start seeing you as a high value woman when
They sure are different caliber of women, aren't they? The ones that require the fancy, expensive dates, and the ones who are very happy with a coffee date or a fishing date or taking a walk. Those are very different, lady. I can agree with you for that, but I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the same. I think you have it backwards. I think men would find much more value in a woman that wasn't looking to extract resources from him and as much resources and as much attention and just bleed him dry like that, than a woman who doesn't really ask for much. That doesn't mean she doesn't value herself, right? It just means she's not looking to be a parasite. She doesn't have an overinflated ego. And she's probably not going to look at you like the trash that needs to be taken out.
once you do this. The next thing is to date him in your feminine energy and to date him like a high value woman. This means you are always about doing what you want to do. He is always trying to chase you and earn your love. You are getting him to spoil you, invest into you, and you are doing all of this while maintaining your virtue. You are not being intimate with anybody. At the same time, he can tell that you are obsessed with your own life. You're fully satisfied. You're detached from him. You don't need his validation. You don't even need him.
Sounds like you need a lot. It sounds like you need a lot. Sounds like you're demanding a lot. And virtue, I don't think she knows what virtue is. She's talking about, not giving it up. But women decide to do this like after they've already, done it quite a bit. And it isn't because of virtue. It's because they have heard in the manosphere, they've heard you guys, and they've heard you say, we don't want a 304. We want a woman who has purity. She's missing the point of what it is you guys want because they only pay attention to, the gurus who talk about what feminine energy is and how to be a high value woman. They don't ask men how to be a high value woman or what men are looking for. I mean, why would you ask a man what he's looking for? I mean, it's the big red flag right there. There's so many red flags here. But I don't know. It's fun to critique.
Him. So this man is scrambling just to stay in your life. When I say you can literally make men worship you, do anything that you want, and make them fall in love with you, make them become obsessed with you, like literally falling at the knees to you, that is exactly what will happen when you watch the High Value Woman Formula video. It literally tells you exactly what to dress, how to act in social settings to attract a masculine provider man that wants to give you princess treatment, how to be on the pedestal and let him know that you're the prize, make him see you as high value and literally the kind of woman he wants to marry within the first hour. Literally, guys were saying, oh, I don't know if I want to be in a commitment right now. And then they started literally.
This is how to set the trap. She's saying how to set the trap, how to lure him, how to make him think you're all these things, because it's all an act. If you can learn it from watching videos, it's an act. It's a performance. It is not who they are inside. They are not naturally submissive. They are not pure. They don't value those things. So when you guys say, well, You know, she acts like she's this, but she's just going to flip the switch. Yes, you're right, because she was never what she's saying she is. Well, actually, this chick is exactly who she's saying she is. But you know what I mean? When they're using all this and they're trying to lure you, they aren't that inside. How do you know if one is like that on the inside? You have to know how they were raised. What were their parents like? What were their grandparents like? What was their experience growing up, and what were the values that they learned? What were they like in junior high or middle school, high school? What did they believe? Did they go to college? Do they value those sorts of things? You have to know those things. You can't just meet a woman and have her try to tell you who she is or act how she wants you to think she is. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's all a trap. And they are literally explaining how they do it.
Telling me that they want to be exclusive with me in the first week and saying that they've never met a woman like me literally in the first hour. Right after meeting me, texting me, calling me, saying, oh my God, it's so good to meet you, Ubering me home. My boyfriend now literally sent me a bouquet of flowers on the second day of knowing me. Tells you everything that a high value masculine man wants in a woman that he wants to marry right now. So he will literally see you as a high value woman and the only woman that he's ever met that literally meets all his boxes, and he will want to take you off the market right now.
Because you fooled him. You fooled him. That's why he might want to do those things. And these are men who don't know the things I'm telling you right now. That's why I want this video to be liked and shared and all the things, because the men need to know. There are too many men out there who don't know that these women are trying to train them. They're trying to trap them. They're dangling a carrot. And you're absolutely right. This is why women, I've heard so many of you guys say, as soon as the honeymoon's over, she's like, different person. Because she doesn't need the trap anymore, does she? No. That's where she can begin to say, hey, you're not meeting my standards. Because he's not courting you anymore. That phase of your relationship is over. These are the chicks that want that to always continue. In fact, they want it to go, up. And these are the women that don't understand that there's so much suffering in life, that life isn't fair, that you don't deserve a happy ending, right? It's all about what you can do for other people, not what you can get from other people. Makes me sick.
Learned how to date like a high value woman, what to accept, what not to accept, how to set boundaries, how to get whatever I want, how to be in my feminine energy around him and communicate in my feminine energy to get princess treatment, to literally get him to spoil me, and to also just tell him what I like, what I don't like, and communicate if I don't like something. This makes him respect you, chase you, spoil you, and literally become obsessed with you and see you as,
honey, I think you're already spoiled.
The most high value woman, because he has to do those things. Otherwise, he will just think that you can be in his life for free. So if you don't know how to ask for those things, how to act in those situations, you don't feel confident. Those videos literally gave me word for word scripts telling me exactly what to do, how to use my eyes, how to
Scripts. You know who needs a script? An actress.
literally use my body language, how to be confident in my feminine energy. These are the answers you literally been looking for. And you can get instant access to all the videos in the second section of my profile link.
And she's selling something. Of course she is. Of course she is. That's here endeth the lesson, right? I know a lot of you guys already know all of these things. And thank goodness, because I feel like you're safe. Heaven's sakes. I feel like you're safe from getting hurt again. And I know there's so many of you out there that are like, but I'm trying to find a woman, but there aren't any. These are not women. These are vultures. And they will take and take and take from you. And what are they giving? Nothing. There's nothing. They're the prize. They're the table. Danger, danger. So I just can't stress it enough that MGTOW is necessary, and the red pill means waking up to what the situation is. And my hope is that with more men walking away and saying no, I'm not interested. I don't want to play anymore. You cheat. Hopefully the women will start to straighten up. Now, do I think the whole society is going to change? No, I don't. But there could be pockets of certain communities and what have you where the women do turn around. But once again, it can't be when they're already, traumatized by the world and have already lived in such a way that is so opposite of what a good woman should be and what would be valuable to you. And with that, I will remind you to protect your peace because it is chaotic out there. Absolutely chaotic. Feed your souls. And I will see you on the next one.